Hey guys, welcome back to The Binger. It's kind of a special thing growing up with the characters that you love. These actors, like their characters, have grown from innocent children to powerful adults before our very eyes. Perhaps none of these actors have transformed like these three special little ones though. Drogon, Viserion, and Rhaegal joined the cast at the very end of Season 1 as little more than babies. Now they've fully matured into dragons with a wild future ahead of them. It's unclear where their careers will go when the show ends. Regardless, we look forward to following them wherever they fly to next. Wait, what? What do you mean the dragons aren't real? Of course the dragons are real. Well, you don't think HBO went out and got real dragons? You know, some people are just crazy. Regardless, if you're talking about dragon actors or human ones, this show looked like it was a blast to shoot. The people involved not only gave us one of the greatest shows of all time, but made lifelong friendships. It's been almost as much of a treat to watch them hang out off screen or post pranks on each other. While these are mostly harmless, some have gotten really out of hand. The stories that have come from the set seem like they would almost make a good TV show in and of themselves. Here we've assembled 10 of the wildest we could find. Here are the craziest things that happened on the set of Game of Thrones, ranked from strange to not okay. Number 1, the rap party. Ask any actor from community theater to Broadway and they'll tell you the cast parties are awesome. Whether we're talking plays, movies, or TV shows, acting can be a challenge. The actors working together often bond into a makeshift family. So when the show comes to an end, they send it off in epic party form. Considering that Game of Thrones is the most epic TV show then, it would have to have the most epic party. From what we hear, it seems like the rap party was exactly that. Once filming was wrapped in Belfast, the cast got together for a party to end all parties. And by the cast, I mean like the entire cast. Khal Drogo and Aquaman movie star Jason Momoa was there. The OG Warden of the North, Sean Bean, was there. To make things even more awesome, they had an Iron Throne photo shoot. I haven't been jealous of a party like this since I heard of those random parties Bill Murray crashes. As all the best parties do, things got a little strange. The cast got a little turned and the pictures got a little weird. Especially the one that features a lick chain from creator David Benioff to Peter Dinklage to Jason Momoa. That sentence just sounds like dirty fanfiction. Number 2, trial by dance-off. The trial of Tyrion Lannister was one of the most dramatic moments in Season 4. We watch as the entire city of King's Landing turns against the man who saved it in Season 2. It also features hands down the best monologue by Peter Dinklage. The trial went on to be the defining moment for the character's arc, leading directly to his betrayal. So we have to ask ourselves, what kind of headspace was Peter Dinklage in when he filmed that scene? Did he go full method? Was he in the trailer for hours, fully engaging with the material? Or is his method more dance-related? Right before filming one of the takes of the scene, Peter Dinklage and Nikolai Coster-Waldau danced down the aisle. It's quite a silly display considering how serious the setting is. It also answers a huge question that fans have been wondering since the beginning of the series. Can these stars dance in real life? The answer is no. No, they cannot. Not everyone can dance like the cast of Guardians of the Galaxy, but they weren't exactly dancing in chainmail either, so maybe we'll call it a draw. Number 3, Kit's face melting. If you've been watching the series, you've probably noticed that the creators love torturing poor Jon Snow. Well, they love torturing the entire cast, and the extras, and the audience. Apparently, these antics went into the real world as well. During the famous Hardhorn episode, Kit Harington was given a fake script. I guess he thought that during his epic White Walker battle, his character's face was going to be badly burnt. This, of course, was a lie. It was probably really awkward when he received the pages of his Ides of March scene later on. He probably thought that it was a big prank right until all the knives came out. That was more of a prank on the audience. Look, we killed another main character. Psych. Don't feel too bad for Harington though. That was nothing compared to his prank on Rose Leslie. If you didn't know, the two of them wound up together in real life. It's surprising they actually got married considering this awful prank. He took a severed head prop from the show and put it in their fridge. Then he filmed her terrified reaction. Okay, it's pretty funny. Number 4. Ned Head Football. The defining moment of the first season of the show was definitely the end of Ned Stark. This moment may have traumatized fans, but it also hooked them. What we didn't know is how traumatized actor Sean Bean was over it. I mean, there was a prop of his own head. Surely that was disturbing, right? Well, apparently he wasn't really freaked out about it. He told fans that after filming he kicked the head around like a football. Pretty sure he means soccer football, not American football. To be honest, if soccer had more head props from Game of Thrones, more Americans would probably watch. It's not a huge surprise that this moment didn't really bother Sean Bean. The actor has bit the dust over 20 times on screen. For whatever reason, people just can't resist offing the poor guy. But he's got a good sense of humor about that. In an interview with Larry King, he seemed to be quite amused by it. I mean, he'd have to be at this point. He's probably more famous for his deaths than his actual roles. That and his skill for becoming epic internet memes. Number 5. Khal Drogo's special sock. Intimate scenes can be very uncomfortable to shoot. We often don't realize how much is asked of the actors. While they usually appear in empty rooms together when they get undressed, that's not the case. The actors are actually surrounded by dozens of people who work on set. This environment is perfectly parodied in Love Actually, with 2 stand-ins for intimate scenes. Though it's doubtful many cute love stories actually started that way. Though Kit Harington and Rose Leslie's isn't far off. So when it came to the many love scenes between Emilia Clarke and Jason Momoa, things were a bit awkward. Then Momoa did something perfectly strange to break the tension. Actors wore special socks over their special areas when filming these scenes. Momoa decided to have some fun with his. He apparently came on set with a pink fuzzy sock on. The moment made Clarke laugh, which probably helped with the awkwardness. In retrospect, this may have been the moment that built the great chemistry between the two. Oh sure, she may be hot and heavy with Jon Snow right now, but she'll always be the moon of Drogo's life. Number 6. Horse hearts don't go down easy. One of the grossest scenes in the show happens in season 1. While the show does have its fair share of gore, it doesn't do a whole lot of gross out moments. It's not The Walking Dead. While the Frey family dinner and the curious eating habits of the Thanes were gross, they weren't the worst moments. The grossest, by far, was in season 1. Daenerys comes into her own as Khaleesi in front of dozens of spectators. She takes a raw horse heart in her hands and consumes the whole thing. This was almost as gross in real life. Clarke described the heart as solidified jam that tasted like raw pasta and bleach. She had to eat over 20 of them. Luckily, they had a spit cut close by. Evidently, she couldn't keep them down. Next time you see that scene, you'll know that there isn't much acting involved. What's even worse was the moment where she disappeared from the set. She went to the bathroom covered in the fake blood. To her horror, the blood stuck her to the seat. Talk about a bad day at work. Number 7. Croatian modesty has limits. One of the most emotional scenes in the series is Cersei's walk of shame through King's Landing. It's a pretty brutal scene as religious zealots force a naked Cersei to walk through the streets. While the scene is controversial for obvious reasons, it almost didn't happen. The scene was shot in Dubrovik. You know what? I'm just gonna flash the word on the screen. There you go. So the scene was shot in, you know the place, Croatia. Apparently, this is a very religious community. They objected to the scene where Lena Headey would be naked in a church. Evidently, they reached a compromise though. As long as she didn't actually stand inside a church, it was all good. There's a Peter Baelish lesson in here somewhere. Morality only matters when tourism dollars aren't at stake. Funny enough, Lena Headey didn't even end up doing this scene. Well, not the full nude parts anyway. Actress Rebecca Van Cleve acted as a body double for Headey. They then use CGI to merge it all together. I bet that looks weird on her resume. You were on Game of Thrones? Yep, I was Cersei Lannister. Well, from the neck down, still counts. Number 8. They wrecked Malta. Croatia might be happy about the popular HBO series filming there, but not everyone is pleased. The Dothraki wedding party was shot on location in Malta. Evidently, the team at Game of Thrones failed to properly clean up after. They have since been banned from ever shooting in Malta. Didn't you guys watch Barney? That's like the first thing he teaches you. I still wake up in the middle of the night singing that cleanup song. It haunts me. Anyway, Malta has continued to have bad luck in the area. The famous archway known as the Azure Window collapsed. It was used not only in Game of Thrones but Clash of the Titans as well, which is sad because the arch actually had the best performance in Clash of the Titans. Maybe one of those witches was actually real. Can you put a blood curse on an arch? Number 9. Bronn versus Cersei. It's kind of crazy how much the cast of this show gets along. Sophie Turner and Maisie Williams have an adorable friendship. They've released all sorts of videos together and have been featured on Carpool Karaoke. A big group of the cast even got together for Red Nose Day. They filmed a parody documentary about a fake Game of Thrones Coldplay musical. It features a hilarious moment between Theon and Ramsay Bolton. The two square off like the enemies they are in the show, but then they hug like best friends. It's as sweet as their television relationship is terrifying. Not all of them get along though. Cersei actress Lena Headey briefly dated Bronn's Jerome Flynn. Nobody knows what happened, but apparently it didn't end well. Tensions are so high the two refuse to work together at all. You'll notice that Bronn takes Podrick away to drink before the big meeting in Season 7. Almost every major character was in that scene, but Bronn had to miss it. We'll probably never know what happened, but we have a guess. Flynn probably broke up with her for a girl who had more money and a bigger castle. Number 10. Presidential cameo. Sort of. Game of Thrones has done a good job of avoiding politics in general. Sure, there are some possible allegories between the show and real life, but these aren't as outright as they could be. Remember when the creators were going to do a show about the future where the Confederacy and slavery still existed? They really succeeded in uniting the country on that one. Literally no one wanted that show. The series did briefly get in some hot water though. Strangely enough, it wasn't for anything written in the actual episode. It was over a prop. You'll remember that Joffrey decorated King's Landing with heads on pikes. That's actually the name of Joffrey's A&E Home Makeover show, Heads on Pikes, on at 8 p.m. on Tuesdays. Well, one of these pikes was based on a political figure. It was modeled after none other than former President George W. Bush. Talk about going too far, HBO. Political commentary is one thing, but severed politician heads are just crazy. The show has since apologized for it. They made a fair compromise in post-production. Using CGI, they replaced it with the head that looked like Josh Brolin. Get it? Because he was in W? Did no one watch that? Okay, what about Sam Rockwell? Is that better? Wow, nobody watched Vice either? Tough crowd. I guess it's true what they say, no one watches political dramas if they don't have dragons. What do you think? Do you have any good Game of Thrones set stories we missed? Let us know in the comments and don't forget to like and subscribe.